the CTV space is very, very exciting, Andy. One of the challenges with the space is to define what are we talking about here. And I think people are often talking about it very specifically, where for me, CTV space, OTT, PlayStation, Xbox, whatever environment you are in, is the future of TV. And it's where a lot of audiences are migrating from linear TV to this new streaming space. And that is going to be the future. In my view, there's no doubt linear TV will stop to exist, but it's also not happening tomorrow. It will take 10 years. And there are many, many things we need to accomplish to go in that direction and make that the future of TV. And I think that's how people need to think about it. We worked the last 5, 6, 7 years. We worked on and launching now. We're live in 11 markets. End of this year, we'll be live in 14 markets. The markets are very, very different from market to market. TV is in general different from market to market. TV is trading in a certain way in the UK versus the US and Germany and Australia. So it's very different, and you have to take a market by market approach. But there are obviously a lot of things that are aligned. You can use the same technology, you can certainly use the same terminologies, and what we see, the shift from linear TV to streaming on demand is happening all over the world in the same way, but at different levels. So that's kind of what we've been around and integrating into all these very different environments that is very, very exciting. Most of the fraud in connected TV to date has happened in the open programmatic exchange and marketplace environment. Obviously, by design, that environment have many different buyers and many different sellers, and therefore there's opportunity to fraud. You can have verification technologies, you can have stricter control, and that space is estimated to be about just short of $10 billion globally in 2021. So that is a small number in the total TV space, but it's a very, very big number if you're a fraudster. And the route to really fix that is, as I just said, with technology, verification technology and stricter control, but it also is to have a advanced one-to-one relationship with the trusted broadcaster US network you use. Because if you have that relationship, and we obviously as GroupM, we have these relationships for 20, 30 years. You have an experience, there are compliance that you are already used to working with. And therefore those vendors and partners, they know that that's part of our DNA. That's part of how we are thinking, that we won't allow any fraud to come in when we work directly with them. And per definition, when you work directly with a broadcaster, there isn't fraud because you buy directly from that broadcaster. And that is really important to think that way.
And finally, Jacob, I wanted to ask you, we've been speaking to a lot of people about, what they think a more responsible media world might look like. And there's many, many dimensions to it. When you think about being more responsible, not just what you do at Finecast and GroupM, but what the creative agencies do, what the broadcasters do, particularly in the context of making this CTV thing work. What is responsible behavior, goals, practices? What are some of your thoughts?
It's many, many different things. It's first of all how you behave. It's first of all not just what we as individuals think, but also how you as a company, whoever we work with, how they behave, how they treat people, how they give everyone an equal opportunity, how they don't look at the skin color, they don't look at how tall you are, they don't look at any of these things, but they give everyone an equal playing ground. And it's part of our responsibility to make sure that we predominantly work with companies that have a very, very declared strategy and behave according to that strategy in the market. And that's obviously not something you just fix from one day to the other. That's something that we need to prove, and we need to educate our clients that they need to spend their money with companies that we can rely on, that are delivering our strategies. That's, for me, kind of the top line, how you need to think about it. We can drill into many different topics because it comes with many different topics, and you have to, I would say, if you have to do something, you have to not just talk about it. You have to start somewhere, and it doesn't really matter where you start. Just start doing something. For me, that's being responsible. That's being responsible about media, and that's taking a stand.